Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Taylor Watts from What's Investing, and today I'm going to be showing you a part of the spreadsheet which I haven't shown before on the channel, and it's a new part, not actually too new of a part. It's been here for a few months, and essentially I started tracking kind of my net worth from when I turned 18 as an adult, and had some key dates here to keep a track and understand what's actually going on. So I've been tracking my debt, so both debt to parents and student loan, my Kiwisaver, my investments, savings and cash, and then just kind of compiled it up, debt being the negative obviously, and then the rest being positive, and then adding it up to give a rough net worth of what I've got over time. And yeah, so back when I was turning 18, I'd already had a car and some other fees around the car to pay for as well. Had some savings and some cash, and then transitioning from high school to university, got a laptop, started investing at March because I saw someone in a lecture using Sharesies and got into it and started researching it and testing it as it went down. Yeah, because this bit is when I first withdrew money to test if it was working, and then got more and more into it, and my savings would decrease as I invest more and buy textbooks, course related stuff, and obviously a bit of alcohol. And then in the winter I went to Queenstown and went snowboarding and some other stuff, and then in September of 2019 I started a student loan, so this amount here will start racking up for the rest of time. And then we've got, after fees free this year, we've got the new year starting, so the loan jumps by about $7,500 for uni fees and course related costs. And all of the Kiwisaver savings, investments and stuff and cash, they're all just the last day of the month value, just to have an easy way to track it. In June 2020 I sold my car for $7,000, which is exactly what I bought it for, which is not too bad. So that dropped the debt I had, obviously, as I gave that money back to Dad. And then this is when I started investing in Hatch through Tesla of about $1,000, as you can see here by the massive jump in investments. And that is before Sharesies had US investments. I think they introduced it a little later down here. And then I got another $1,000 course related costs from COVID. They added that in, and then I went on the road trip with my girlfriend. Got a little bit more loan there. And then again, 2021, New Year started, more fees, more course related costs. And then, yeah, so then we got the loan pretty much getting up there, and it's pretty much hitting its peak amount over the next 2-3 weeks, and then it stops. And then over that time, Kiwisaver's been putting more into that, more into investments, and more into savings and cash as well. And I'll show you the graph in a second, but I've just been tracking it month by month from when I was 18. I might go back further in time, but I haven't had a bank account for too long before then, maybe a few years, so might not be too interesting. It'll just be kind of pocket money bouncing around. But these are kind of the important years onwards, and the graph is essentially showing essentially my first year of uni. Not too much is happening, just gaining a little bit of debt here and there, and then the next year of uni starts, it jumps up heaps, then it drops down when I sell my car, and then it kind of decreases for a bit while investments are going better and I'm spending less money, and then here spending a bit more, so the student loan I'm getting per week, I'm obviously saving less of it here, and then here the next year starts, and over the past, I think, 6 months in a row, net worth has increased essentially, so the relative debt has decreased, which is pretty cool to be able to track and say, in May 2021 I was about 21,000 in the hole. Now back 6 months later we're only 18,000 in the hole, so it's a super cool stat to have. And since I'm not doing university next year, going into the workforce when I find a career path I want to get into through my degree, essentially this should be on the other side of the line, which will be cool, as it has been in the negative my whole adulthood, which is going to be sick to track, because this 18,000 should very quickly by the end of next year, pretty much just be on the other side. And then onto the actually interesting stuff, into the positives and into future plans of investments, thinking about housing market, things like that, and possibly another car. So it's very cool to track this and just kind of see what's been happening. And you can see here that the even though I haven't really been gaining any more net during this kind of 9-month period here, but there's a bit where it bounces up about $1,300, and that's when I think share prices were dropping around April, May, and it shows there's a big impact here. And then over the last 6 months, investments been going better, dollar cost averaging into those drops, and being able to really gain a bit more off of that, which is super cool. And yeah, this graph here is just kind of a representation of what's happening in amongst this net worth over time, and it's just essentially the Kiwisaver increasing and the investments increasing, and this difference in the blue line is essentially the money putting in. I think I put in maybe $20 a week on the Kiwisaver, pretty much just the minimum amount to get that 50% return from the government, and then the investing will be in the realm of $0 some weeks, $150 some other weeks, depending on my casual work, university shenanigans and stuff around that. But here we can see big spikes in the market, and then some drops here where it does drop, say $600 here, and then it goes up and then does drop again, $250, and it's gone up. And these are on end of month dates. So yeah. And then I've just on this same chart, I've just got my total student loan. I haven't updated this in a while, it'll be a little higher, and then kind of just rough payback dates, which just keeps me pretty low on the stress. And then debt to dad, same thing, essentially just giving me an idea of what I'm up to. And then I've just got some bills here, haven't updated and added any of the extra ones that will obviously drag all the way along here. Haven't added those in yet because I don't touch this too often. I just upgrade the net worth thing every once in a while, at the end of the month pretty much. And I do have October currently in there, even though the month's not finished, just as a purpose for making this video, and kind of even showing that I'm beneath September already, and it should look better by the end of the month hopefully as well, especially with these recent stock market returns, with Tesla increasing as well with their amazing earnings report, which I'll probably talk about in the next video. But yeah, I think it's super cool to track your net worth. I would highly recommend just giving it a wee deep dive yourself and looking at your own finances and inputting anything else you've got, any other assets, liabilities, and stuff like that. I haven't gone too in detail, it's just pretty much my debt and then bank accounts, essentially, and just giving it a visual aid. And most of you will probably have longer horizons of time where your net worth can be tracked, and you probably won't want to do it month by month. You will probably want to do it year by year or every 6 months. Otherwise, this sheet in a year's time will be out here and then out there, and I'll have to do it every 3 months and then 6 months. Otherwise, yeah, it will just be a massive scroll. Yeah, so changing the scale will help it a lot. And yeah, at the end of this month we will be doing a review on our dividends received over the month of October, and essentially seeing where this number goes, how it affects our total dividends, how it affects our quarter 4, as it is the first month of quarter 4, October, November and December, the last 3. We get to see where quarter 4 is heading. I already know what the current dividends are, and I get to know if it's close to my guess. There is still time remaining in the other video. If you want to check out my last video, you can have a guess on how many dividends I'll receive in October, and if you're right, I'll give you a shout out. Check out your channel. You'll just get a crisp thumbs up from me. And also we get to compare it month by month to the years before and the months before, once we add it in at the end of the month, which will be super cool to look at and be able to compare on these cheeky staircases we have going month by month, which I find very, very visually nice. November will be super cool to see a difference, as it has been a 0 and then only a 5er. November will hopefully be up sitting around here, and I think the minimum for each month is really decreasing, because recently input something in here which is a track your dividends website, and it's just kind of inputted. I've kind of input my shares in all my American stocks to just get some information that I couldn't be bothered making my own spreadsheet for, as it does all the calculations for me. So I've gotten a rough dividend yield and a yield on cost, annual income, and a beta on the portfolio, and the numbers are handy just to know the difference of yield on cost to yield. Is super cool to know that I've paid that much to get an insane difference, really. If you compare it, or imagine that's a 10%, it's all the way up at 16 kind of thing. But the dividend yield will be a bit higher once you include our New Zealand stocks, and yeah, we hope to increase it over time, as Tesla is a big participant in reducing our yield as a non-dividend payer, and that is roughly 40% of our portfolio. So if you do take that out, it probably makes the portfolio look a lot better, hopefully within that 2 to 3% range, but we'll hopefully be improving that. But yeah, the main point of showing you this is essentially the expected dividends, and seeing that on the low months, which is October, January, April and July, the lowest we will expect is $4 per those months, and this is ignoring the New Zealand shares as well. And then on the higher ones, there's $12 to $13 on these months, and that is again not including those New Zealand shares. So pretty much November is looking to be $13 at least, essentially, which is pretty sick. And it's got all the different months, companies, and when they pay. So it's super useful. I haven't used any of the other features really. I think there's a diversification one, which is kind of cool. It does that all for you. Shows your highest payer, your largest holding, your smallest holding, the highest yield as well, and just kind of a little bit of a deep dive. It's handy. It's something I found while I was just bruising around trying to save time on spending too much time making a spreadsheet for this number, that number, and every other number. But I suggest trying to look at your net worth, track it, see if it's interesting to you, see if it's either relaxing or stressful. I mainly did it to get a real perspective on this number here. So I have $42,000 debt, student loan and debt to dad, but if you include all my investments, bank accounts, Kiwisaver and all that, it's not looking too bad after 3 years of university. And hopefully I'll be able to prove that over the next few years as I earn an actual income, and be able to reverse the effects of that study, and really gain off that capital expended and time expended into that. And hopefully I can create kind of an opportunity cost graph maybe in the future, like if I didn't go to uni, what job I could estimate what kind of job I would have had or could have got, and improve from there, and then say what I missed out on while I was at uni, and then maybe compare that in 5 to 10 years time and see if it was worth my time, just using some estimates. So I think that could be cool, make me feel either better or worse, which is always what these comparisons are, really just seeing if the numbers are making sense. But yeah, we'll check out the portfolio in the next video. We'll talk about our dividend growth here. We want to talk about this and the dividend snowball, and just really show off what we're doing, and maybe talk about Tesla earnings. And I think all the other big American companies also do their earnings around this time of the year, so we'll do that usual quarterly video where we just talk about earnings, how our companies are performing, whether they're underperforming, dividend raises coming, expected dividend raises, and yeah, just talking all stuff, dividends, stocks, and the usual stuff around the portfolio. Yeah, so cheers for sticking around this long. If you have enjoyed it, you know what to do, and I'll catch you next time. Happy investing.